Welcome to Mystic Library X, where ancient secrets, lost civilizations, and unsolved mysteries come to life. For centuries, the Great Sphinx of Giza has stood as a silent guardian, watching over the pyramids, shrouded in mystery. But what if everything we thought we knew about it was wrong? Could this colossal monument be far older than Egyptian civilization itself? Who actually built it? And what secrets lie buried beneath the desert sands? Join us as we unravel the mysteries of the Great Sphinx, one of history's most baffling enigmas. But before we begin, make sure to subscribe to Mystic Library X and turn on notifications, so you never miss out on our deep dives into hidden knowledge and ancient wonders. Now, let's begin. The Great Pyramid of Egypt, humanity's most mysterious architectural wonder. If we had to choose the greatest and most mysterious architectural structure ever built by humans, the Egyptian pyramids would undoubtedly be a top contender. Thousands of years have passed, and human civilization has advanced tremendously, yet much of what the ancient Egyptians left behind remains an unsolved mystery that science has yet to fully explain. The first question: why did the ancient Egyptians build pyramids? The pyramids are considered one of the greatest wonders ever constructed by mankind. According to historical records, the ancient Egyptians had a deep belief in resurrection and immortality. They meticulously prepared for their own deaths as well as those of their family members by constructing elaborate tombs. To them, houses were merely temporary resting places, while burial sites were their eternal homes. The pyramids were the final resting places of the pharaohs, the rulers of ancient Egypt. However, some theories suggest that the pyramids were built not just as tombs but also to safeguard Egypt's greatest secrets. There are even theories claiming that the pyramids were constructed as a means for ancient Egyptians to communicate with extraterrestrial civilizations. To this day, scientists have not reached a definitive conclusion about the true purpose behind the construction of these magnificent structures. How many pyramids exist in Egypt? To date, scientists have discovered at least 138 pyramids in Egypt. Most of them were built on the west bank of the Nile River, where the sun sets, a location believed to be connected to the realm of the dead in Egyptian mythology. The Nile River, the longest river in Africa, stretches 6,650 kilometers, 4,130 miles, and flows into the Mediterranean Sea. It has played a crucial role in the rise, prosperity, and eventual decline of many ancient kingdoms, shaping the development of the great Egyptian civilization. The Great Pyramid of Giza, the oldest and largest pyramid. The Great Pyramid of Giza is one of the oldest and largest pyramids within the Egyptian pyramid complex. It served as the tomb of Pharaoh Khufu, who ruled during Egypt's 4th dynasty. Built in the early 26th century BCE over a period of 27 years, the Great Pyramid is the only remaining structure of the 7 wonders of the ancient world. Unlike other pyramids that have deteriorated over time, this one remains largely intact. Some even speculate that it could be the work of an even older, unknown civilization. Even today, no official, complete, or scientifically confirmed answer exists to explain all the mysteries surrounding the pyramids. Could there still be hidden secrets waiting to be uncovered? How the pyramids were built, an unsolved mystery. How did the ancient Egyptians manage to construct such massive architectural marvels? While many other ancient structures have been thoroughly studied, providing us with clear answers on how they were built, the Egyptian pyramids remain an enigma. One of the most astonishing aspects of pyramid construction is the sheer amount of stone used. Some pyramids contain up to 2.3 million stone blocks, each weighing anywhere from 2.5 to 15 tons. This is an incredible feat, especially considering that at the time, there were no vehicles capable of withstanding such an immense load. How did they manage to transport millions of tons of stone using only human labor? Did tens of thousands of workers perish during construction due to the grueling conditions? Even more astonishing is the fact that some pyramids took over 20 years to build, yet they were constructed with an almost unparalleled level of precision. How were these massive stone blocks positioned so flawlessly without the aid of modern technology? We know that the pyramids were built using granite and limestone, extremely hard and dense materials. Not only were the stone blocks carved with extraordinary precision, but they were also fitted together so seamlessly that many joints are barely visible even today. This level of craftsmanship has allowed these structures to withstand the test of time for thousands of years. However, the biggest mystery lies in the origin of the stones. Many of these massive blocks were not sourced from the construction sites. In numerous cases, they were transported from quarries located hundreds or even thousands of kilometers away. How did the ancient Egyptians move these enormous stone blocks across such vast distances? What techniques did they use to lift and position them with such accuracy? Theories on how the Egyptians built the pyramids. First theory, the use of cranes and pulleys. The first theory suggests that the ancient Egyptians used cranes and pulleys to lift the massive stone blocks. If this theory is correct, it would mean that they invented incredibly strong pulleys thousands of years ago. But is that really possible? How could they have created pulley systems capable of lifting stones weighing up to 15 tons? Second theory, the use of massive earthen ramps. Some scientists believe that the Egyptians constructed enormous earthen ramps to drag the stone blocks to higher levels. These ramps may have been built around the pyramid, and once the construction was completed, they would have been dismantled. These ramps would have significantly reduced the force needed to pull the stones while allowing large groups of workers to collaborate and move them more easily. However, if only a single ramp had been used, building a pyramid could have taken hundreds of years. That is why some researchers propose that, in addition to 2 or 3 main ramps, the Egyptians may have also constructed multiple smaller auxiliary ramps to speed up the transportation process. But if this was the method used, why haven't any traces of these massive ramps been found? Third theory, the use of water to move stones. A team of physicists from the University of Amsterdam in the Netherlands conducted an experiment and discovered that water could reduce friction on sand. When sand is moistened, it does not clump up, allowing heavy objects to move across it more easily. This experiment suggests that if the ancient Egyptians understood how to use water effectively, they could have reduced the required pulling force by half, meaning even a small group of workers could have transported massive stone blocks. Final construction steps, perfecting the pyramid's exterior. After placing the stone blocks to form the pyramid's shape, the Egyptians would have meticulously polished both the outer and inner surfaces until the structure was complete. This process was carried out from top to bottom, with workers carefully removing rough protrusions on the pyramid's exterior. The inner walls were then inscribed with hieroglyphs and images. If this theory is true, could the Nile River have played a crucial role in transporting the stones? Did the ancient Egyptians harness the river's flow to move the stones to the construction site, or is there still another secret waiting to be uncovered? Strange phenomena inside the pyramids, a mystery yet to be solved. Have you ever imagined that, in the middle of the Egyptian desert, where temperatures can soar up to 50 degrees Celsius, 122 degrees Fahrenheit, there exists a place that remains cool all year round? Despite the scorching heat outside, the interior of the pyramids, specifically the Great Pyramid of Giza, maintains a constant temperature of around 20 degrees Celsius, 68 degrees Fahrenheit. How could a structure built thousands of years ago maintain such a perfectly stable temperature? But the mystery does not stop there. Scientists have conducted a series of experiments to investigate the strange phenomena inside the pyramids. They placed rusty coins inside the pyramid, and after more than a month, something incredible happened. The coins became shiny and looked brand new. But that was just the beginning. They then placed a glass of fresh milk inside the pyramid, and something even more astonishing occurred. After an entire month, the milk's color and taste remained unchanged. It did not spoil, nor did it show any signs of decomposition. Even fruits left inside for 2 weeks remained fresh, without losing moisture, drying out, or rotting as they normally would in an ordinary environment. What is happening inside the pyramid? Could this place be harboring a unique form of energy, a scientific mystery that has yet to be explained? Some skeptics have proposed a humorous theory. They jokingly suggest that perhaps a mischievous young prankster imagined himself as a pyramid housekeeping staff, secretly replacing the milk and fruit every day. But does anyone truly believe this explanation? Or is there still something far more mysterious about the pyramids that we have yet to uncover? Deadly traps inside the pharaoh's tomb. Could you survive? If you've ever watched famous movies about ancient Egyptian mummies, you've probably seen the deadly traps set inside the tombs of the pharaohs. But were these traps merely fictional, or did they actually exist to protect the final resting places of the kings from grave robbers? So, how many types of traps have been discovered inside these ancient tombs? 1. Wire traps, the silent killer. The first and most dangerous trap to mention is the wire trap. Nearly all ancient Egyptian pyramids were equipped with this type of security mechanism, but these were no ordinary wires, they were razor-sharp metal wires, stretched at neck level. Designed to instantly decapitate any intruder who took a careless step, these wires were often hidden in darkness or placed in areas with limited visibility, especially at spots where one might stumble or get startled, leaving them no time to react. According to experts, this was one of the most effective traps ever recorded in history, but this is just the beginning. 2. Snake traps, a nightmare for trespassers. Are you afraid of snakes? If so, imagine stepping into a tomb filled with venomous serpents, ready to strike at any intruder. Snake traps were one of the most terrifying methods used to deter grave robbers. These weren't just any snakes, they were highly venomous cobras, whose bite could kill in mere minutes. Some tombs even contained pit traps filled with dozens or even hundreds of snakes, ensuring a gruesome fate for anyone who fell inside. However, scientists have raised an intriguing question: how could snakes survive inside a sealed tomb for hundreds of years without food? Could it be that these traps were designed to function only for a short time after the tomb was sealed? Or is there another hidden secret we have yet to uncover? 3. Poison traps, a slow and agonizing death. If the previous traps weren't terrifying enough, then poison traps will show you what true horror means. Many ancient Egyptian tombs used this deadly tactic, especially in the Bahariya oasis burial sites. The ancients scattered hematite powder, a sharp metallic dust, all over the floors and passageways. The moment an intruder stepped inside, inhaling even a small amount of this substance would begin to erode their internal organs, causing them to die slowly and painfully. This isn't just a theory, it has actually happened in history. In 2001, Dr. Zahi Hawass, a renowned Egyptian archaeologist, had a terrifying encounter with this trap. While exploring a tomb in the Bahariya oasis, he and his team were forced to retreat immediately after discovering that the artifacts inside were covered by a 20-centimeter thick layer of hematite dust. Had they stayed any longer, they might never have made it out alive. Entering the pyramid is one thing, getting out is another. These traps were only a small part of the sophisticated security systems created by the ancient Egyptians, but the real question is, how many more traps remain undiscovered? Are there still hidden mechanisms operating inside the pyramids that we have yet to find? The mysteries of the pyramids remain unsolved. Do you have the courage to step into this world? The most terrifying mummy's curse, a haunting mystery that still lingers. Throughout history, many explorers have faced misfortunes or even lost their lives while uncovering ancient ruins. But among all the chilling legends, the curse of the pharaohs remains one of the most terrifying and mysterious. Even after thousands of years, the story of Pharaoh Tutankhamun's curse continues to haunt the world. Tutankhamun, the youngest pharaoh, and his mysterious death. Pharaoh Tutankhamun was the youngest ruler in ancient Egyptian history. He ascended the throne in 1332 BCE at the age of just 9, becoming the 18th pharaoh of Egypt's dynasty. His reign was considered one of the most glorious periods in Egyptian history. However, in 1323 BCE, at the age of 18, he mysteriously died, leaving behind one of the greatest unsolved mysteries of the ancient world, the discovery of the tomb, a shocking archaeological breakthrough. Centuries later, most royal tombs in Egypt had been looted, with their treasures stolen and remains desecrated. But strangely, Tutankhamun's tomb remained untouched and hidden, a fact that piqued the curiosity of archaeologists. Then, in 1922, the famous British archaeologist Howard Carter and his team made one of the greatest discoveries in history, the tomb of Pharaoh Tutankhamun. Inside, they found over 5,000 priceless artifacts, including jewelry, weapons, clothing, furniture, and even chariots, all incredibly well preserved. This discovery was groundbreaking, offering a glimpse into Egypt's golden age. However, it also sparked fear and speculation about a deadly curse. The first victim, Lord Carnarvon's sudden death. Lord Carnarvon, the wealthy British aristocrat who funded the expedition, was the first to die. He was found dead shortly after the tomb's discovery, allegedly from a mosquito bite that became infected. What made the incident even more terrifying was that, when Tutankhamun's body was examined, researchers found a similar wound on his face, in the exact same spot where Lord Carnarvon had been bitten. Was this merely a coincidence? Or was the pharaoh's curse beginning to take effect? A string of mysterious deaths. Lord Carnarvon was just the first of many deaths linked to the tomb. Soon after, others who had entered the tomb also met tragic fates. Prince Ali Kamel Fahmy Bey, an Egyptian royal who had visited the tomb twice, was shot dead by his wife in a Paris hotel in 1923. Aubrey Herbert, Lord Carnarvon's half-brother, died suddenly from blood poisoning after a routine dental procedure. Arthur Mace, a member of Carter's team, mysteriously fell into a coma and never woke up. George J. Gould, an American financier who toured the tomb, developed a sudden fever and died the next day. Dr. Archibald Reed, a scientist who performed X-rays on Tutankhamun's mummy, also died under mysterious circumstances. In 1924, British Egyptologist Hugh Evelyn White, who had explored the tomb, hanged himself, leaving behind a note written in his own blood, warning that he had been cursed. Within 2 years of the tomb's opening, at least 22 people associated with the excavation had died, many from unexplained illnesses, accidents, or apparent suicides. Science versus the curse. What really happened? Many scientists believe the real cause of death was a deadly bacteria that had thrived inside the sealed tomb for thousands of years. The theory suggests that those who entered inhaled ancient mold spores or toxins, leading to their sudden illnesses and deaths. But many others believe in the power of the curse, pointing to an inscription allegedly found at the tomb's entrance: "Death shall come on swift wings to those who disturb the peace of the pharaoh." Could the ancient Egyptians have placed a supernatural curse on their tombs to protect them? Or was the series of deaths just an eerie chain of coincidences, the pharaoh's warning, a curse, or just a myth? Whether real or not, the legend of the pharaoh's curse continues to terrify and intrigue people around the world. Did Tutankhamun's spirit truly seek vengeance against those who disturbed his tomb? Or is there a scientific explanation behind the deaths? Perhaps some mysteries are never meant to be solved. The hidden world inside the pyramids, unsolved mysteries. Have you ever wondered what truly lies inside the ancient Egyptian pyramids? Are they merely the final resting places of the pharaohs, or do they conceal terrifying secrets that humanity has yet to uncover? There are countless pyramids across the world, but one of the most magnificent and mysterious is the Pyramid of Djoser, also known as the Step Pyramid. This structure is located in Saqqara, Egypt, and was built between 2630 and 2611 BC. Not only is it one of the oldest pyramids, but it is also one of the most significant archaeological sites of ancient Egyptian civilization. However, the most terrifying discoveries aren't found above ground, they lie beneath the pyramid. A vast underground world beneath the Djoser Pyramid. Few people know that beneath the Pyramid of Djoser lies an immense underground world. This is not just a simple burial chamber, it is a labyrinth of mysteries unlike anything else in human history. Millions of mummies, treasures, and artifacts have been discovered in this area. It is not only the final resting place of 16 pharaohs but also a massive cemetery for Egyptian royalty and nobility. But what shocked archaeologists the most was the staggering number of animal mummies found. Thousands, even millions of mummified animals have been unearthed, revealing a burial scale never seen before. Why did the ancient Egyptians bury so many animal mummies? Did they hold a special role in the spiritual beliefs of ancient Egypt? Colossal tomb chambers. What other secrets do they hide? Beneath the earth, hundreds of tunnels stretch out like a massive underground palace. These passageways extend hundreds of meters, twisting and turning like a giant maze. What was the true purpose of this vast tunnel system? Were they simply burial chambers, or did they serve a secret ritualistic function? Then, during an excavation, scientists made a shocking discovery: a gigantic sarcophagus weighing 90 tons. The 90-ton sarcophagus. What was inside? This massive sarcophagus was crafted from solid granite, a material so hard that even with today's modern technology, carving it would be incredibly difficult. How did the ancient Egyptians, thousands of years ago, managed to carve and transport such a colossal sarcophagus, but the most frightening part was not its size, it was what they found inside. After using explosives to remove the sarcophagus lid, the excavation team was left stunned. Inside, there was no pharaoh. Instead, they found the mummified remains of a giant bull. Why would the ancient Egyptians build a 90-ton sarcophagus just to bury a bull? Did this bull hold a divine significance in Egyptian beliefs? Was it part of a sacred ritual or sacrifice? Or could this be evidence of a long-lost civilization? Unanswered questions. For centuries, the Egyptian pyramids have been a symbol of greatness, yet the mysteries hidden within them continue to shock the world. How many more secrets remain buried beneath Egypt's sands? What was the true meaning behind the millions of animal mummies? Where do the hidden tunnels lead? And why was a single bull buried in a 90-ton sarcophagus? Are we getting closer to the truth? Or the deeper we dig, the more we become lost in a labyrinth of mysteries yet to be revealed? The mystery of ancient Egyptian mummification. What you're about to see will chill you to the bone. The ancient Egyptian mummification process, a chilling mystery that not everyone knows about. We've all seen Egyptian mummies in Hollywood movies, but how did the actual mummification process take place? Since ancient times, the Egyptians believed that life after death was of utmost importance and that it depended on preserving the body as a vessel for the soul. That's why mummification techniques were developed, to ensure that the body wouldn't decay over time. But how did they manage to preserve a body for thousands of years? The answer will shock you: the 70-day mummification process. What really happened during this time? The entire mummification process took about 70 days and was performed by high priests, involving an intricate and meticulous series of steps. So, what really happened inside the embalming chamber? Let's uncover the truth. When someone died, their body was taken to a specialized embalming room, where it was placed on a raised table over half a meter high, surrounded by tools for the procedure. The essentials for mummification included specialized tools for cutting, dissecting, and preserving the body, for canopic jars, representing the 4 sons of Horus, which were used to store the organs, natron salt, a unique mineral that absorbed moisture and dried out the body, linen wraps, used to carefully encase the body after the process, a skilled priest, responsible for ensuring that the deceased soul would safely transition to the afterlife. But the first step in the process is something that will make your skin crawl. Brain removal, a gruesome first step. The human brain is one of the first organs to decompose, so the Egyptians had to remove it quickly. To do this, they drilled a hole into the skull, then used a special hook to liquefy and pull out the brain through the nose. Once the brain was removed, they poured wine inside the skull to clean and disinfect it. Can you imagine witnessing such a procedure? Stay tuned, because what happens next is even more horrifying. Removing the organs. Why was the heart the only one left behind? The embalmers made a small incision on the left side of the abdomen to remove the stomach, liver, lungs, and intestines. But these organs weren't discarded. They were carefully placed into 4 canopic jars, each protected by one of the 4 sons of Horus to safeguard the deceased in the afterlife. However, one organ was kept inside the body, the heart. The Egyptians believed the heart contained a person's soul, consciousness, and character. But here's the real mystery. Studies show that only about 25% of discovered mummies still had their hearts intact. So, what happened to the others? Cleansing and purification, the most crucial step. Next, the entire body was thoroughly washed with wine and fragrant oils. Different parts of the body required different methods of preservation. The empty skull was filled with resin or tree sap to prevent further decay. The body was bathed one last time in water from the Nile River, a step of great religious significance. But the process wasn't over yet. Coating the body with natron, the secret to preserving mummies for thousands of years. After cleansing, the body was covered in a special type of salt, natron, for 35 days. This salt completely dehydrated the body, preventing decomposition and leaving behind a perfectly preserved, leathery form. Strengthening the body, so the soul could live on forever. The priests then anointed the body with perfumes and sealed it with a layer of resin to protect it. Next, they massaged the corpse with a wax mixture infused with cedar oil, an ancient remedy to repel insects. But the most mysterious step was the placement of a sacred amulet. A metal plate bearing the Eye of Horus was placed over the abdominal incision to guard the spirit in its journey to the afterlife. However, how did they ensure the mummies would survive for eternity, wrapping the body, sealing it in a sarcophagus? The final ritual. Finally, the body was wrapped in multiple layers of fine linen and placed into a nested coffin system or a stone sarcophagus. But that wasn't all. Between the layers of linen, the Egyptians carefully inserted magical amulets and sacred spells. They believed that these charms provided protection for the deceased in the afterlife. Unsolved mysteries. Did the Egyptians possess a lost technology? Even with all we know today, mummification remains one of the greatest medical achievements of ancient Egypt. But how did they manage to preserve bodies so perfectly? Was there a lost technique that has been forgotten over thousands of years? The secrets of ancient Egypt continue to astound us. Will we ever uncover the full truth? The mystery of the Sphinx, who was the real builder. Next to the three great pyramids of the Giza Plateau stands the enigmatic Great Sphinx. But do you know what secrets lie hidden within this colossal statue? Carved entirely from limestone, the statue depicts a sphinx, a mythical creature with the body of a lion and the head of a human, resting in a crouched position on the Giza Plateau, on the western bank of the Nile River. Yet, what puzzles scientists the most is this: who actually built the Sphinx? And could it be even older than the pyramids? Let's find out. A colossal statue that defies all explanation, the Great Sphinx of Giza is the largest monolithic statue in the world. Measuring 73.5 meters, 241 feet, in length, 20.22 meters, 66 feet, in height, it has stood for millennia, defying every effort by scientists and archaeologists to fully understand its origins. But the strangest discovery lies in the weathering patterns on its surface, the erosion mystery, evidence of a great flood. Robert Schoch, a geologist from Boston University, initially believed that the Sphinx was built by the ancient Egyptians. However, when he examined the statue firsthand, he made a shocking discovery: the erosion marks on the Sphinx's body were not caused by wind or desert sandstorms. They could only have been caused by water. This completely contradicts everything we thought we knew about ancient Egyptian history. How could a statue located in the middle of a desert show signs of water erosion? Even more mysteriously, the lower part of the statue, the oldest section, bears the strongest evidence of prolonged water exposure. This has led researchers to propose a staggering theory: the Sphinx may have survived a massive flood in the distant past. If this is true, could the Sphinx have existed even before Egyptian civilization itself? Was the Sphinx built in 10,000 BC? Based on the evidence, Robert Schoch and his colleagues concluded that the Great Sphinx may predate the pyramid standing beside it. In fact, it could date back as far as 10,000 BC, but if ancient Egyptian civilization only began around 3000 BC, then who actually built the Sphinx? Have we misunderstood human history all along? Astonishing theories about the Great Sphinx. The Sphinx remains one of the world's greatest enigmas, attracting countless theories. Some researchers believe that the Sphinx may be a gateway to the legendary lost city of Atlantis. Could this statue be evidence that Atlantis once existed? The philosopher Plato once described a utopian society with an advanced civilization far ahead of its time. This mysterious city was supposedly located in what is now Santorini, Greece, but was destroyed by volcanic eruptions and swallowed by the sea. So, is it possible that the Sphinx is a remnant of that lost civilization? Or could it be linked to an Egyptian god? The Sphinx and its connection to Anubis. One theory suggests that the Sphinx did not originally look the way it does today. Instead, some believe it may have once been a massive statue of Anubis, the Egyptian god with the body of a human and the head of a jackal. Jackals were closely associated with Egyptian burial sites, as they were known to scavenge bodies. This led the ancient Egyptians to revere Anubis as the god of the afterlife, protector of the dead, and overseer of mummification. But if this theory is true, then why does the Sphinx now have a human head? Could something have happened that altered the statue's appearance forever? The Sphinx in Greek mythology, a guardian of secrets. The Sphinx is not exclusive to Egyptian culture. It also appears in Greek mythology. In Greek legends, the Sphinx was a terrifying creature that blocked travelers' paths, forcing them to answer riddles to proceed. one of its most famous riddles was, what creature walks on 4 legs in the morning, 2 legs at noon, and 3 legs in the evening? The answer came from Oedipus, the king of Thebes. It is man. As an infant, he crawls on all 4s. As an adult, he walks on 2 legs. And in old age, he uses a cane, like a 3rd leg. Upon hearing the correct answer, the Sphinx took its own life. So, could the Great Sphinx of Giza also be a guardian of eternal mysteries? Unsolved mysteries, the pyramids of Egypt still hold countless secrets, frustrating scientists for centuries, and the deeper we dig, the more new mysteries emerge. Could human history have been misinterpreted from the very beginning? Could the Sphinx really date back to 10,000 BC? And most importantly, if the ancient Egyptians weren't the ones who built it, then who did? What do you think? Are we getting closer to the truth, or are we only diving deeper into a labyrinth of unknowns? Who do you think really built the Great Sphinx? The Great Sphinx of Giza remains an unsolved puzzle, defying time and challenging everything we think we know about the past. Was it built by the ancient Egyptians, or does it predate their civilization? Could it be a lost relic from an ancient, forgotten world? One thing is certain, the deeper we dig, the more questions arise. And this is just the beginning. If you love uncovering ancient secrets, hidden histories, and forgotten civilizations, then subscribe to Mystic Library X now. Let's continue this journey together, exploring the greatest mysteries of the past, because sometimes, history is not what it seems. See you in the next video.